Hello, guys, and welcome to today's Chris Palmer show, we'll call it. I was going to say Cash Flow Digital again, but this is not Cash Flow Digital. But welcome to the show, our usual weekly question and answer session, which we will be answering any of your questions or as much of them as we possibly can. We are probably also going to touch on CTR today, purely because the questions are becoming a bit repetitive and we don't want to bore you with the same information all of the time. So any questions, try and mix them up, give us something new to answer and new to talk about or new to even debate about, and put them in the live chat. Do also check the sponsors, odys.global, if you're interested in aged domains or done for you affiliate websites. But we are competing against SEO Rockstars today. So let us know who's in the audience. Speak up today, guys, in the audience, just so that we are aware of who's there, where you're from, and anything that you are struggling with. But while we're letting people come into the show, Mr. Palmer, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I got up at like 9:30 today, AM in the UK, and I'd seen like 2 hours prior to that, you'd been doing a video. What fucking time were you doing videos till last night?
Well, I started at about 10:30, and then I did it till about 2 a.m. I just love SEO. Well, to be honest with you, once little Chris laid down, I had a bunch of stuff I had to do. So when I switched off, like I was up actually. I was only sleeping 4 hours. So like I had a bunch of work I had to do. That's usually how I do it. Like I'll get it all together and then I'll bang it all out. Cause today then I'll just, screw around all day, I'll just do whatever I want today. So like I had to bang out some schema. I had other pages I had to do. And then I was just like playing around with that. I was looking for particular keywords for another site that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to build out a content. I don't know. I'm playing with the tool to make it work. Like I have my little content strategy. I have my little template, like I'm trying to make it, I'm having fun with
it. It's actually, I was on a call with Paul this morning, who is in the live chat there, and he was telling me as well, he said, did you see fucking Chris up last night? And I'm like, he said he was at it like 8 a.m. It was like here. You were chumming out videos. I'm like, fuck.
I wrote it. I said, no one is more passionate about SEO than me. Nobody.
That's pretty crazy. But listen, it's always good.
That's right.
We have Mr. Naga, J-Mac from South Africa. Hello.
Hey, Jay.
Good to see you here. Richard Conover.
That's a new one.
Calgary. Dig Doug. We've got a LinkedIn user. Mr. Craig Mullins. Elton Musa. Okay. We have Ryan Durrani. Honey Kumar. So yeah, people are starting to flood in.
Cool.
And it's nice to see you guys there.
Yeah.
Let us know if you do have any questions, but we will kick off with some stuff on CTR, Chris. We've also got Andrew Powell there from Sarnia, Canada. So a couple of different Canadians in the audience as well. So good, we've got a good rounded audience there from all over the place. But guys, do come in with your questions, but we will grill Chris a bit today actually on...
Well, back and forth.
We'll grill Chris because we've spoken about CTR quite a lot on previous shows, and obviously you've had your course, and for me, you've taken CTR to a weirder level, if you like, with the whole Android emulators and all of the kind of stuff that you've done with CTR and you've been playing around with. So over and above, obviously we've spoken about micro workers, and we all know click-through rate and engagement works. I think several people even in the chat will tell us that yeah, that's worked really well for me. I know actually Ryan Durrani done some CTR on his GMB or his father's GMB, and his father phoned him a couple of days later and said, whatever the fuck you're doing, stop it. He said his father's a driving instructor, right? And he doesn't need 100 new clients a week. He can't service them. So a couple would have been fine. But obviously when Ryan done that and got the rankings, it was like, you know, X amount of people coming through per day. And he's like, dude, I'm fucking out driving, teaching people here. Like, I can't be answering the phone all day. Yeah, he nearly got sacked for doing that to his GMB. So sacked from his own dad. So CTR works, but we want to know, actually, Ryan's got, do you see early drops and spikes from CTR manipulation in the SERPs? GMBs are not so turbulent, but the SERPs can react weird. So what's the difference between a GMB and the SERPs, in your opinion, or how you find it working?
Well, I think that it's a lot easier. I think it takes a lot less with the GMB. You know, I think that the movement happens maybe a little bit faster than in organic. But as far as, you know, is it acting strange? I mean, I think any fluctuation that we see, we're going to be like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I think that it acts a lot faster. But with organic, it does take a little bit longer, without any shadow of a doubt. See, and the problem I ran into was the guys that had the resources in order to be able to run it themselves, instead of, hey, anybody can go to Micro Workers, right? But we don't want to do that. That's not fun. So the guys that actually had the resources meaning computing power, right? Yeah. To be able to do it themselves, plus had the output to be able to find, okay, here's this, here, get the stuff that they need. All of them, like, I was taking screenshots, like all of them were like, hey, this is doing great. But they all had one thing in common. They were already on the first page, or they were at number 3 trying to go up to number 1 in the map pack. You know what I mean? They had all the other factors in place. It was that little taste, you know, that cherry on top, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's what I notice all the time. But to answer your question, yes, I do notice that. It is kind of strange. Sometimes you can't even pinpoint it.
Yeah. But what I have seen and what I've also heard from guys that have actually watched the show, you know, I've had guys that are in page 3, they go away, listen to what we're talking about, and it's going to be CTR manipulation for Mersudin here. So click-through rate and engagement signals to help your rankings. But a lot of guys have said to me, I've done it and I'm in page 3 and I've jumped up to page 1, but when I stop the traffic, I jump back down to page 3. And that's obviously, you know, what Chris is saying here. There's a time and a place to do it. And I think also, and I want your opinion on this, Chris, like, how long do you do the CTR for? You know, is it like 5 days? Is it 10 days? Is it 30 days? You know, what's in your opinion, if you're doing it for the SERPs, and GMBs is very easy to do, and it's, as we know, a little less volatile. But do you think even if you are in, say, position 3 and you do a bit of CTR, you know, for 10 days and you jump into position 2 or position 1, that if you stop right away, that it drops back down? Or do you think you need to do it for like a 30 or a 45-day period just to stabilize it? What's your opinion on that?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I don't think that it needs to be consistent for 30 days. But more like 2 weeks to 30 days. I like that you said that. I think that just to validate, you know, your position, generally, like, let's say the click-through rate manipulation, I was able to get it up there relatively quickly with no on page. And then every now and again, if it starts to fall or I lose the snippet or something were to happen, then I'll just go and run a few more. It needs to have a steady flow in order to retain position, at least a percentage of what you initially did in order to get up there. So the answer is definitely, I think that you need to, you know, especially in a crap SERP where there's nothing else coming, I think that you definitely need to be at least sending something in consistently. Yes.
Yeah.
But generally that initial bump is you'll get right up there if you're already in position or there's no other factors.
Yeah. I mean, what I would also say to people as well is, obviously organically, once you get to position 1, you're going to get more traffic anyway. And if that's kept there consistently, you know, as I say, I'm not saying a 30 days or 45 days or any specific amount of days, but I think if you do that, that organic traffic does overtake. But I would probably still be playing around with it anyway, you know, sending in Facebook ads and various other bits of traffic anyway, just as a natural thing to happen. So yeah, I think just don't be pulling all your traffic all together if you're only doing it for manipulation reasons. I use Facebook ads a lot for CTR manipulation and getting traffic to my website, and I could stop it all tomorrow. You know, and that's me driving people to blog posts or whatever. And you know, if I stopped it all tomorrow, my website would probably slump, I would imagine, you know, when it stops getting half the traffic that's going on. So it's not all done purely just for CTR manipulation reasons. It is done just to drive traffic in general anyway. So never ever stop that. But we've got some questions, Chris, before we dig into
Sure.
Before we dig into the Android emulators, because I want to grill you on that, because people always ask me, oh, what the hell's Chris up to? Like, I can't fucking get my head around this and all that kind of stuff. But we'll go for the questions quickly. Give me a second. Try to scroll back. Yeah, so Honey Kumar was the first one. Is it possible to rank a website without GMB for local areas?
Definitely. 1,000%. 1,000%. But I do think if that's your primary location, you should have a GMB. And I think that, as Jordan says, it validates the entity, right? So, yeah, I mean, you can, but if it's your primary location, I would assume that having it was going to certainly help you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, it's obviously up there. It gets a lot of traffic. I think many people undervalue the traffic you can actually get from a GMB. So if time allows, try and get it. Definitely. Dig Dug, I've started using Micro Workers. How many tasks a day total should one run for a site? And how long does it usually take to start seeing results with rankings?
Well, see, the issue is, you know, the way it's set up, you have to have at least 30 workers, right? So the problem with that is most people say, okay, I got my 30 workers. There's 30 instances. I'm going to go blast it with the main keyword, right? But really, you know, when you have those 30 workers, what I would perhaps recommend is obviously you're going to look at the SERP and see whatever the tools tell you, and you're going to do a percentage of what the top rankers have coming in for the primary keyword. But those words that are down bottom that are bold, run it in for those words, and also the other keywords that page is ranking for. So you have those 30 workers, 10 are going to go to we're just saying, for instance, 10 are going to go to the primary, but you have to have those other workers run for those other keywords too. It's just like on page. It's just like off page. On page, you're matching, mimicking who's winning. Off page, I want to get the same quality of backlinks. What's different about the traffic? I need to mimic exactly how they're doing it. What kind of traffic are they bringing in? From who? From what countries? From where? How is it coming in? How fast is it coming in? You see? So it's the same thing. We're showing Google exactly what they want in order to rank. Showing that's what's being rewarded. So hopefully that helps you. Sorry,
Yeah.
I get off there. I just start thinking I'm like talking as fast. I want to get the answer out. I know what I want to say, but it's like, come on, Chris.
Richard Conover is asking, what is your main site, Chris? So he can have a look via his laptop.
I almost feel bad sometimes now.
Don't tell me you've not got a main site, please.
Oh, no. I mean, I have a site where I send people to sign up for consultation. It's Chris Palmer Marketing. But I mean, like, it's not where my work is. Like, I don't like, that's like the last thing is mine. The only thing is on there is email. You'll see as soon as you land on it, there's nothing else going on. It's an email form or a sign up for consultation, which is the only objective that you want to talk to me about this, or do you have a question? That's pretty much about it. You know?
So check that out, chrispalmermarketing.com. If you want to check mine, it's craigcampbellseo.com. Hopefully that helps you.
Yeah. I'm not a web designer. I can guarantee that.
So Random Object is asking how to confirm a fake address on GMB.
Well, who says it's fake? I would first alleviate that it's fake out of my mind, and then I would just go out and start dropping pins and or go to a provider and start buying up verified listings. And those are valid addresses where my business resides, and that's a quality service.
We'll go along. I like that. I like that. Robert is asking, he sends potential clients small video SEO audits, which I quite like that, by the way, but my response rate is extremely low.
That is
and
what I
the
do.
few that do respond find the service too expensive. He focuses on businesses with high customer value, 5 to 10K each. Maybe you guys have some tips for me. So what would be your tips for Robert?
Well, I mean, 5 to 10K. I mean, you're doing a lot better than a lot that maybe I receive, right? 5 to 10K a month. I don't think that's a small budget. Do you, Craig? 5 to 10K a month?
No, definitely not.
That's a nice budget. I can do a lot. Send them over my way. No. So to be honest with you, I don't see what the issue is. They have more than enough budget to be able to implement a quality strategy. They would be exceedingly happy. I would be giving them so many deliverables. I think that's what I've noticed. Most people want to be able to see it. It could be nothingness, but they want to be able to see it and broken down. So as far as, I don't know what, I mean, that budget is great. I mean, I don't know what you would need help with, sir.
No, I don't know if he's struggling to get that type of customer. That's what his problem is.
Oh, well.
So I think he's trying to do audits, but the people that he's finding just don't have the money for an audit. So he's looking to get the 5 or the 10K a month customers, which
me too
they are out there, but they ain't hanging about in Facebook groups or messing around. Certain, I think you have to put your what I would always say to someone like Robert, if I've taken that in the right context, is there's more ways to market yourself. Like Chris Palmer says, like, I only have a website to to gather in if someone wants a consult or to ask a question. Chris obviously uses videos and everything else to demonstrate his knowledge to then attract those people to him. And I think doing more of that is going to be a lot better than fighting the old rat race of trying to rank locally and get those clients that just don't care. They've only got $200 a month and they think audits are fake and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's important to put yourself out there, put your neck on the line, do more videos and demonstrate your knowledge, showcase studies. That type of thing will then attract the right type of people to you. I think sometimes fighting locally, in my opinion, I used to be obsessed over ranking in the city that I reside in, and if I'm being honest, it was all tire kicker, shitty ass clients that came and gave me a headache. Not the type of people I would want to work with. And I think it's not until you maybe speak at conferences or do more YouTube videos or appear on SEMrush or wherever I've done things that people have went, right, that guy actually sounds as if he knows what he's talking about. And that has made people come to me. Whereas, you can do your pay-per-click and SEO, and I think you're just joining the rat race with all those other dodgy agencies out there who you'll all be knifing each other in the back saying he's shit, and you're all fighting over, $500 a month. So
that's right.
I think, maybe doing some videos and stuff like that just to flex the benefits of those video audits. What is in those audits that's actually going to help people, and just pick it apart and tell them why they should be using you. And I think you'll do all right that way. But that's just my opinion.
And don't be scared. I mean, don't be scared to let out the secrets. Like, literally go through like you would do for somebody. I found that to be the best benefit. And also, it doesn't have to be YouTube. I see guys, I don't know what the word, booming off of Facebook, like those live share groups. literally going through it, they're getting consistent work. And don't be scared. Look for an entry point item because you got to be able to get in the door. So what often other services do these businesses have or need? Video marketing, other social media platforms that are lower ticket, easier to get in the door, show them your worth. Then you could pitch them on the higher ticket stuff, so that's how I did it. I mean, I'm not, I'm not the best. I can tell you that, but I did what I could.
There's some food for thought there anyway. Next, Andrew Powell. If I run a Google AdWords campaign to keywords I want to rank in organic search, does it help with a rankings boost? What's your thoughts on that?
That is often debated. And I have to say, if you're running traffic to your site, it's going to, in the grand scheme of things, help. But do I think that giving money, handing it literally to them, is going to significantly increase rank? Probably not. But I think as a secondary factor, I do think that getting the traffic is going to help you. Yes.
Well,
so the answer is yes.
Here's my thing on it, Andrew. The answer is no, simply by saying that you do AdWords is not going to give you an SEO boost based on that alone.
No.
But the click-through rate and engagement that we're talking about, click-through rate manipulation, can be done using paid ads, and sending that to pages, that click-through rate and engagement is what's going to help your pages rank. So CTR-wise, engagement signals-wise, and everything else, it will indirectly impact your organic search. So I'm basically reiterating what Chris is saying, but just
you said it better, Craig.
Yeah, better. Yeah, he kind of gave a shitty answer. But no, that's my opinion on it. And I'll tell you a story once, Andrew, actually. Years ago, I wanted to rank for SEMrush tutorial, that keyword. Now, I put content on there and it got to the top of page 3. I'd done all my kind of on page that I considered was good at the time and got to page 3. The fucker wouldn't move from the top end of page 3. So I didn't want to build links to it because I wanted to test a few different things out. And what I'd done was got SEMrush to retweet it alongside a whole bunch of other people in the industry to retweet it. Now, obviously, when they retweet it, that gets a lot of traffic, and boom, it ended up in the top 5 in page 1. So I'm running around saying to everyone, fuck me, social signals is where it's at. Man, that shit works, blah, 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 blah. And someone pulled me to the side and like, Craig, it's not the social signals, it's the click-through rate and engagement from those social signals that actually helped you. Because I'm running about, oh, it's fucking social signals are the best thing ever. Send social signals to your website. And I actually did try that at some point as well. And I was buying up social signals and stuff like that. The social signals don't make a blind bit of difference. It's the traffic and engagement from real social shares that did actually move the needle. So again, like for like, with AdWords or paid Facebook ads, you could twist that question. Does paid Facebook ads help your SEO? Well, not directly, but yeah, if you run them to the page, of course, yeah, you're going to see an organic increase. So hopefully that explains it all anyway. I went off on a bit of a rant there, but I just wanted to give that story out because it was quite funny at the time. I'm running about telling everyone to buy up social signals, which was a lot of shite. But I believed it to be true at the time. But there you go.
I remember all the rage, right? Social signals. I remember when everybody was, hey, if you go check my old Fiverr cows, I was slinging those babies like It's
probably you that whispered in my ear one day indirectly. Social signals, Craig. Try them. You know what it's like. You see that shit, you try it out, and
that's right.
Some shit happened to you. I don't know what, but let's blame the social signals. Mersudin Forbes, how do I deal with this in a scalable manner, cost and penalty related? So I'm not sure you're going to get a penalty for CTR. I've never known that to happen. But how do we scale this up, Chris? What is the fastest, most efficient way to scale this CTR up?
I hate to stomp on my own foot because I want to be able to show everybody. But what I would be looking for, because the common issue that people are running into is that running it at scale is resource heavy. So I would be looking for somebody that can handle all those resources. So, who lets me put stuff online that is infinite? So that's what I'd be looking at. And I think that'll get you right on track as far as being able to scale it, and that's cost effective.
So can we say that in English? No, I'm looking.
You're looking for who's going to let me run mobile applications and/or emulators with virtualization in the cloud? That's really what you're looking for. How do I run this in the cloud that can handle all this? And then you want to scale it, and you don't want to have to do the work. You want to be able to give it to whoever for $5 an hour. So you want to be able to embed it, right? And then say, hey, okay, here's this one, this one, this one, this one. This is Los Angeles client. This is this client. This is this client. And then you're building your personas. But you want to be able to do that at scale. But at the end of the day, people are always looking for the automation, but headless or whatever, it's just not going to work how you want it to. It just doesn't. I'm sure you've ran into this too. There's just something about the automation that doesn't work like literally people clicking. I don't know what it is.
at the moment for me, Masood, and how do I do this in a scaled manner? I don't do exactly. We've probably all got different ways of doing click-through rate manipulation. So some of the ways that I do click-through manipulation, I will do things that are cost-effective, like using my mailing list to send people to a URL. I'll use push notifications, which again doesn't cost me any more money than my day-to-day running costs. I will send X amount of money towards a Facebook ad to get kind of low-cost clicks as well, using the ending audience, which again is a cost-effective solution. I can put in $20 into Micro Workers, and again, get a ton of clicks for $20. So there's a multitude of different ways before you even start using the kind of Android emulators and all that kind of stuff. So essentially, I could have my thing, then get a virtual computer, do Chris's thing, and I think it would be fairly scalable. It would be at a decent level, and it should work. I think you've just got to mix up where that traffic's coming from as well, and as I say, throw in some real traffic where possible. So that's how I do it. Just so you know, guys, keep your questions coming. Do give us a like and subscribe on the channel if you do enjoy the video. We are only at 5:13 on the questions, so we will proceed and try and keep going through the questions because
they're coming in good
on the questions. So we're doing well with questions. This is the kind of thing we want. We want to help you guys and keep the questions coming rather than us just talking absolute shite. So yeah, Ryan Durrani. How do you calculate the traffic you send? I assess top 3 positions. I try and divide it by 14 or 30 days to work out an average click per day. Is that what you do, Chris?
Yes. But when you go to the page, I mean, obviously the page is ranking for a bunch of keywords, but if you look, the primary driver is the primary keyword, and then they're only getting like 1 or 2 for this word, 2 or 3 for this word. But at the top, if you're looking at a tool, it's going to tell you the primaries that are bringing in traffic. It's usually a variation or a weird off word. So then what I'm looking at is, okay, so this is the top guy, which is right. That's who you're analyzing. So I would do like 2% of whatever that number is. So if he got 100, then I'd send in 1 or 2 clicks for that keyword. And then I would just go down the line. That's what I would do. So when you're sending it over to Micro Workers or doing it yourself, you should have a list. I was going through that with somebody the other day, and they're like, wait a minute. So not just this one. I'm like, no, that's not how this guy's ranking. You want to mimic exactly. I mean, it's the same. Here's what's winning. This is what I'm going to do. And then boom. It's a little bit more work, but once you have the process down, make a video and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps you, Ryan.
Absolutely. Ramp on. Yeah. So they're talking about when the.
Oh, and I say that, Craig, and I say that like it's easy. I've gone through a couple guys now. It's not as easy as you think. Like you just go on Fiverr and be like, yo, I need somebody to do this. No. It's not that easy. It's hard, man. It's hard to get somebody to do exactly what you want on the time frame that you want and does it exactly like it's a pain in the butt. So if you find somebody out there, treat them good because it's worth it. Anyway, sorry.
Next question, Deep. We will come back to this, but I want to stay on topic with some of the other questions. Then I'll come back to this one. GMac, Micro Workers or Android emulators. Does the locality of IP addresses affect the outcome of the rankings? This is a one for you, Chris, because you played around a lot with the different sets of IPs and stuff.
To be honest with you, it's not the IP, it's the device location. You know, I don't think it's an IP thing, even though I like to have different IPs or fresh IPs, but I don't think it's not an IP thing. The device location, I feel, for local does matter, but where the IP is, not necessarily, no. You know, I mean, things could change overnight though, but as of now, at least what I've been playing with, dude, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Nah.
Run it in there, man. Run it
in. I think more so what I would consider, Jay, if you're doing click-through rate for GMBs, then potentially I would run local Facebook ads at that, so you're getting that IP range locally, but I really don't think it matters a shit for the SERPs or the videos or anything else that you're trying to manipulate. You know, I don't really give a toss when I'm running stuff. I'll literally have any old, you know, the cheapest guy clicking on my stuff. I don't give a shit, and it works. So for now, that works very well. Outsourcing boss, yep, UVids is what's said to me. Craig knows his stuff. Thank you very much, outsourcing boss.
I see you're winning too. I saw somebody asking, I was snooping in some groups of who's your favorite SEO. And Craig, man, you're pummeling it, man. People love you, dude.
Really?
Yeah. No, you didn't see this?
No.
It was like Craig Campbell. I'm like, I was gonna say, but I didn't want to give up my alias name, so I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
You dirty dog. Your alias name. So let me ask you a question here on this.
Yeah.
Is your alias friends with me? Just out of curiosity on Facebook.
Oh no. It's within those other communities.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm not alias friends with you on Facebook. No, I'm straight Christopher Palmer. I'm pretty open with that. No, I would tell you.
What is getting on my fucking tits, to be honest, is I just know that there's these random fucking fake profiles going around. And I know, like, one of my friends, James Dooley, who some people may or may not have heard of, he's an SEO guy. He's relatively well known. And he's literally got fucking women, guys, fucking... He's got everything going on, and you know they're him right away, just by the language they use. But I'm just like, man, I don't fucking add my profile anymore, because I don't want my profile to be full of everyone's fucking fake personas. But he does. He literally cuts around with like multiple phones and does crazy shit. But yeah, he's off his fucking head. But there you go. But JMac is saying, I'm also concerned about Google being able to read the IP as 000 on mobile. Surely they can block that out if the traffic seems suspiciously manipulated. So obviously, Chris, you were talking about mobile proxies were working best and stuff like that. Now, surely Google wouldn't be stupid enough to block mobile traffic, given it's probably the most amount of traffic on the internet. It would be very hard for them to do that, surely. And
to be honest with you, because the way the IPs are, they couldn't do that, because the guy sitting here on that IP, it could be a guy in the next state over, even at some point. Because of the way the rotation is, they're not going to block ranges of mobile, not at this time. So if you're using mobile, I would not be concerned about that. I mean, a guy, you know, Zuckerberg could be utilizing one of those IP ranges. Like, who knows? Like, they're not going to. The chances of that are slim to none. I wouldn't be concerned about that. But if you're talking about the 000, what you're talking about, if we're utilizing emulators, you're talking about the device ID 0000. Doesn't matter. They make frameworks that you can go in there and change that. You can change, like, when people are looking, they're like, hey, it says desktop emulator. You can change that. You can change the SIM ID. You can change it all. There's custom ROMs you could run on top and do whatever you want. So, and I'll be showing you guys how to do that soon.
This is that weird shit that when you start talking about custom ROMs and shit, I start feeling like,
oh no, it's
really fucking really dumb. That is not my bag. But what I would say, Jay, is this guy here, with all that kind of stuff, it's insane. The shit that he knows and overlays onto the emulators to be able to change all of that shit. And yeah, filthy stuff, but it's good stuff.
And with that said, though, you know, I'm seeing the same, like, just like a normal guy. Let's just say, I don't know, Chris Palmer too. The guys on Micro Workers that know Zilcho, just going in there and running traffic, are still getting results. So I don't think you need to take it to that level. I mean, you could just, you know, especially if you're Joe Johnny in New York and you have a plumbing company in some bumble place, you're going to get results by running traffic. So you don't have to get that crazy with it. You don't need to be running, you know, Raspberry Pi proxies and all this crazy nonsense that I like in order to get results.
I think though, but certain SEOs get obsessed with different things. Like I'm really big into link building, PBNs, you know, tiered link building, niche edits, redirects, expired domains, and all that shit. That's my bag. That's my favorite thing in the whole of SEO. And I think some people do like digging deep into this weird shit, like you're saying, Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. I'm just a technophobe, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, and I haven't a bloody clue how to plug it all in. But yeah, each to their own. But J-Mac, it certainly wouldn't do you any harm at all to keep your eye on Chris Palmer's stuff that's coming up. That digs deep into that weird shit. It's maybe not for a lot of people, you know, a certain type of audience or whatever. But it's I think it's great that people can get right in about it and you know, get their hands dirty with it as well. So fair play. CBD cakes, still waiting your cake coming, my man. What's a good CTR rate? 25%, 50%, 100%.
Not 100. Again, I mean, when we're looking, let's say we're trying to rank a particular page for a particular set of keywords. When you look at it, your click-through rate percentage is probably what, 4%, 5%. So we're doing incremental, especially if you're in Oblivion and you're trying to get gradual increases. You're optimizing on page. You're starting to run in clicks. Very gradual, a small amount. I would, whatever it's at currently, just start to gradually increase it, and I think you'll see great results. CBD.
Perfect. Richard Conover, I joined your Facebook group. Thank you very much for that. For CTR, do you recommend a service or bot? You can use Micro Workers. You can use CTR Booster, which is a bot. Use some proxies on that. Paid Facebook ads and stuff like that. There will be videos in the group that talk about CTR manipulation, and there's actually a video on YouTube if you look for it. I think it ranks really well for does CTR really work? And that was the time, Chris, where you told me you were going after click-through rate manipulation to try and beat me for it, and then I upped my game and that whole story. So there's a quick video on there showing you exactly what I'd done to wipe Chris's ass across the floor and empty his pockets at the same time. So quite a cool video that. So it was fun. But yeah, I've given what worked for me on there. So hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, you were open with it. I gave it in pieces and then deleted the videos. I just gave little pieces, but it wasn't anything. You went above board. Yeah. You were trying to.
Sometimes you've got to. So we have some other questions that are here. And actually, before I do yours, Puneet, I'm going to go back to Inderdeep's just before we go on because I don't want to get lost. But Inderdeep was asking, can we give him some tips on e-commerce SEO? What would your top couple of tips be, Chris?
I'm sorry, man. I mean, that's not my cup of tea. You know, I think you're more, you know, that's just not my, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm useless for this.
Tips for e-commerce SEO. I'll just give you a couple because it's something, again, you could talk a whole show about e-commerce SEO. A couple of things that you want to do is make sure you're on the right platform. So many people are on crappy platforms that you can't really do proper SEO on. Hosted in America when they're targeting the UK audience, they don't have access to the server, and it's just on a off-the-shelf platform. Second tip would be to make sure that you do have that access so that you can block specific URLs from being crawled and indexed, purely because with e-commerce, there's so many product variations, different colors of products and everything else, that all of those URLs do not need to be crawled and indexed. The main one does. And a common thing or a common theme is people allow all of those to get indexed, and they lose crawl budget and all that kind of stuff. Also with e-commerce, make sure you're on the right server. So for example, I once had a guy who was trying to run Magento on a shared server that cost like $20 a year. So it really should have been for a basic low-end WordPress website. This guy was getting 25,000 visitors a month.
Wow.
And the website basically crumbled when two people were trying to buy something from his website. So, that's a couple of tips there. Do not try and run an e-commerce website. There's certain servers out there that are actually optimized purely for Magento because it's more memory intensive. So there's stupid things like that, but SEO is SEO. You've got to make sure that your content's right. You're getting a good link building strategy. All of your on pages done as well, and target using your product pages, going after a whole bunch of long tail keywords. Regularly audit your e-commerce website as well, because your products changes, and you need to make sure that you're not giving off 404 errors and stuff like that. When products go out of stock, you want to either temporarily redirect them somewhere else with a 302 or do a 301 to the main category or whatever. I think these are all common things that you see wrong with e-commerce websites, just when you're auditing them quickly. But as I say, there's a million different things that I could go through, but it's obviously not suitable for this show. But hopefully that helps you. But back to Puneet. Puneet is looking to start working in the German market. Can I translate my English blog content into the German language? Will Google consider it unique or plagiarism?
Can you? I mean, you could. I think that there's going to be some variation within the text. I at least know from one language into English, it reads a little funky, but I mean, I wouldn't base my whole strategy or my website off of that. No. I might have somebody. Go ahead.
Also depends, like if you're using the same brand. So if you've got brand.com and you're launching a German market website where it's brand.de, the whole purpose of hreflang tags is to say to Google, this is not duplicate content, guys. This is just the German version of my website. That will stop you from getting any, hammered in terms of plagiarism. But that depends if you've got it, that, if it's a brand or whatever. If it's just going to be a run-of-the-mill website, then I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine Google would be able to pick that up. Because if Chris had a German website and I was to go and steal the content and shove it on an English market or domain name, I'm pretty sure Google can tell that, I pretty much ripped that off. So, yeah, you just need to be careful how you do it. But the whole purpose of hreflang tags is to say, this is my German website. Don't punish me for it, but we're selling the same shit. Basically,
but they index you. They'll index you anyway, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, it depends is the answer, Puneet. But hopefully that gives you something closer to your answer. Facebook user, how do you come up with unique content as a beginner to write it all alone?
I don't.
Get someone else to do that. I think what I would say to the Facebook user there is, you've no option. Google wants unique content, and that's best practice to have. And probably outsource that stuff, because if you don't have the right ideas or the right type of brain to write like content, some people can just do it and it just slithers out. And I'm that type of guy that would run out of ideas after 150 words. I'd be like, fuck, what else can I say about this? Which is why I don't do content writing. So sometimes people have more of a creative brain and can tell stories better. And that is what I'd potentially do, is outsource to that. Because if you're anything like me, who I would just agitate myself with that. And so that's my opinion on it. Outsource that stuff because it is painful. But if you're a beginner and you don't, look at what other people have and just try and rewrite that in your own words. Look at what the competition have got in terms of length and just put your own spin on it and tweak it around. And I don't mean copy and paste it and change a few words. Just, there's only so many ways we can talk about SEO, for example, but people have got different ways, different tones, different vocabulary, and go with that and do it in your own way, or add your own comedy effect to it or whatever, so that it's unique. But Puneet, how much traffic on a website will be required for a German affiliate program approval? That question is probably very specific. I have no idea what the answer is, because I'm going to assume, like, I know with certain gambling niches and stuff like that, they want to see like 100,000 hits a month before they'll consider you, but that may change from industry to industry, and I certainly I'm not sure what the answer to that is. And the kind of laws in Germany, if there are any. So I'm not able to help with that, but I'm sure someone out there will, be able to help you if you Google it, or speak to the affiliate company themselves. They'll be able to guide you. But do you know the answer, Chris?
I do not. No, that's pretty specific.
What the fuck is that you've got, Chris? Is that lollipop?
It's a lollipop. Yeah. Sorry. It's one of my favorite
lollipop for ages.
I love these things.
Theo, good to see you, man. Hope all is good with you. Ryan Durrani dropped in a $5 saying, always dropping knowledge, my dude. I think you might have an advisor there. I'm only kidding. Andy Woolley, long time no see, Andy. I was actually thinking about you the other day. You haven't chopped in for a while, so good to see you. Crazy busy at the moment, but both of you slaying it. Liked and subscribed too, guys. Make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. Give us a little like, a little bit of love, a comment, even abuse is fine as well. And for any of those trolls that are watching, keep watching. Give us a thumbs down, even.
That's right, my biggest fans.
Andy is asking best methods and platforms to ramp up reviews to my website. GMB advertising a lot on this of late, so reviews or platforms or anything like that, would it be personas? Is there a service you can recommend? Or
man, I'd be careful with that. I wouldn't. Man, I would just be careful with that. There are services out there and you can get it done. A lot of times what you'll notice is it'll get past that point of, they'll guarantee it for 60 days. And then usually right after that, then it just vanishes, right? Because Google will pick them. They do like cleanouts every couple months. So I would be careful with that. I would just, after you get a client, I'd simply ask them, your follow-up emails when you're thanking them or whatever you're doing. Getting reviews is difficult, but just buying them, I wouldn't recommend that, Andy. But you can do it.
Yeah. What I would say to anyone is trying to get a customer to give you a review. It's fairly easy to ask, and most will say yes to do it. However, they don't know how the fuck to do it. That's the problem half the time. Now, if you go to the little
Well, so to iterate on what he was saying, I think he was leading into make it very easy for the customer, right? I noticed that with, say, getting Google reviews, generally you got to give them the link. I make it as easy as possible. I'll even type it in and say, hey, go to this particular address and leave me a review here. And then if you need to do Facebook, then leave me a review here. Craig?
I can't fucking believe I cut myself off. I'll tell you how I cut myself off. I clicked on the fucking... I was going to tell you about this app, this Chrome extension called gatherup.com, and I actually clicked on it and I was continuing to talk and I'm like, what the hell happened?
I give my own opinion.
But the app GatherUp, gatherup.com will give you the URL to give to the customer that makes it easier. So you can just say, go and click on this link and just give me a fucking review. And it makes it easier because that's...
Say that, Craig. Give me an effing review.
Yeah. But I can't bloody believe that. Did
that app kick it right off? Kicked it right off?
Yeah. I just clicked that. I never even gave it a thought to open it up in another tab. I just clicked on it. I'm tired today, man. I'm stressed out. So I'm not thinking straight. So I've got my presentation for Rockstars. I've still to complete that, and I've got a whole load of shit in my head. So I'm blaming that. Fuck it.
There you go.
But Theo, we did talk about the best CTR method probably about 10 minutes ago in terms of cost and effectiveness. Facebook, micro workers, maybe use your own Android emulators, your own mobile phones, your email list and push notifications and everything else. Those are the best to do. Hopefully
utilizing what you already have current at your access is definitely by far the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way to do it. Email list, your social media that you already have, that's the easiest. But yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
Craig Mullins, what are the best Black Friday deals that are coming out? Mullins, you're a bad man asking these things. You probably know already. And he's just being a fucker and trying to do it all. But if you look at my Black Friday SEO deals page, which is not got everything on it yet, you will have, I've got an affiliate course coming out. Brad and Mike's cloaking course with the tools and everything else, which I probably shouldn't be saying right now, but that stuff's coming out. And various other people are putting out courses or deals or discounts on stuff. I'm only going to list about 10 because I don't want to overwhelm everyone, and they're going to be various different things. Chris, have you got a course coming out for Black Friday?
Yeah, I have building backlinks. I think I'm gonna do, and I'll do a deal. I think I have something special for the guys that were already in it, and then I'll do a deal on. It's Black Friday. I mean, you have to do something, right?
Yeah. So Chris's stuff will be on mine. I just wasn't sure if he wanted me to say anything or not, but we had already agreed that anyway. But yeah, I'll let him tell you. But so I'm going to have Chris's, Mike and Brad's, mine, and a few other people's things that I believe are actually offering value to the community rather than selling people a load of old dung. Because I don't charge to be listed on that page. I simply just want to promote who's got the best. Clint Butler's stuff's got something on there as well. I can't even remember the rest, but there's probably going to be about 10 really good deals that I basically, even for the likes of Mike and Brad, with their course, what they're giving, they used to charge thousands per month for a mastermind for that information, and you're going to get it for less than $100 on Black Friday. So the tools and everything. So there's going to be some real good stuff there. So there you go. But that's all I'm going to say on that just now, because the information's not up, and they want to tease you guys for a little bit longer. And they're going to tease you next week's show as well, when myself and Chris are going to be on there. Chris is going to be grilling them. I'm going to be sat there going, what the fuck does all of this mean? But but yeah, they'll be giving us a bit more information in terms of, the specifics of cloaking. So interested in that. I think we always can learn something new. Yeah. So there you go. Mr. Slattery, you guys rock. Love these Q&A sessions. Good
Thank
to see
you.
that you guys are still
We need
loving
that.
them.
Yeah, we need that exactly. Yeah, I
We
like to
actually
hear
thought
that.
you fell out of love with us for a while because last week was kind of crap. No one was asking questions.
We were sad.
Good. But
I'm feeling this today. This is going to. I thought it was going to go bad today because SEO rock stars and stuff. Like that's my audience basically. You know?
Now we've got a decent thing here. Chris and the Lollipop. Good day, Superman.
Sorry.
No, listen, don't change, Chris. Don't change.
Need my
What
sweets.
are good local SEO experts you could recommend? Depends where you are, random objects. Like you could go to this guy here, Ryan Durrani, in the UK. He's been playing around a lot with local and getting good results. Chris does a lot of local in the US. He probably does it elsewhere as well. I'm not sure, but depends where in the world you are. You know, I think, you know, if you're going to be getting someone to do your local, probably someone that's in that country at least would be a good start. Because I wouldn't know Ohio from Pennsylvania and what's north, south, east, or west, you know, in America, because I'm not a native American. But I know LA is on the west coast, New York's on the east coast, and all that stuff. But I think, you know, having someone that does kind of have a rough knowledge of what in that country is a good place to start. So here's a couple of suggestions for you. So there you go. Create and the G. I didn't even know you could do that, Theo. Creating a URL short link for reviews, which you can generate in the GMB dashboard. I've always just used the apps and stuff to pull that. But yeah, that's an easier way to do it if you can go in there. Always make life hard. I don't know why.
Me too.
Chris was slagging you off, mate, whilst the camera was off. I'm sure he was. My question got skipped, Craig. Kunal, I didn't see your question at all coming up. Can you repost it and I will do it? I didn't see your question pop through before. So if you can do that, that would be great. Hari Kumar, how many guest posts are required to beat an average keyword of around 5,000 per month searches? Average CPC is $1. Possibly 10 guest posts is enough.
I don't think it's a set number. I think it's it's not guest posts. We're talking about links, really. How many links do I think it's going to take in order to beat for that keyword? As many as it takes. You know, I would be optimizing to the fullest, making my supporting content, of course, to start generating more traffic for the primary. But I would be building links at a smaller rate. Maybe, you know, get the highest quality you possibly can and do one or two. You know, give it some time, maybe build some more. But I wouldn't just bang do 10. I wouldn't. But
no, I think it's wise words. Like, you know, stick a couple out there, see what it gets you to. Like on page, if your website is relatively powerful and you've done good on page, you might get to page 3 on content alone. Do that, get all of that ticked off, get any supporting content done, build a couple of links. That might nudge you up onto page 2, and then you've got a better idea of saying, right, if I buy another 2, where am I going to get to? Am I going to be in page 1? Is it going to just nudge me to the top of page 2? And at that point, just keep drip feeding them on, and that will do the job. And yeah, from there, always remember, you can also power up your guest posts and stuff as well. You do not have to just keep buying guest posts.
That's right.
Get the most out of your guest posts that you can as well by, you know, sticking on a tool. You know, I know Chris uses RankerX and you know, various tools. I use SEO Autopilot, but something to build some Web 2.0s or something to squeeze a bit more power out of that guest post is something you can do as well, just to keep your cost down and give it just that bit extra.
Send a 301 to it.
Or yeah, that's always an option.
No.
Random Object is saying, sorry, probably missed the answer to your question. So we did answer that question. It was near the start of the webinar. That was the one, Chris, where he said, is it possible to confirm a fake address in GMB when you said who said it's a fake address? That's
That's
not.
right. Oh yeah.
So obviously you can do this. You know, you can buy GMBs from guys and stuff like that. Who the fuck is to say it's a fake address?
That's right.
That, you know, Google can't go around checking every address and who's there and whether they've got a sign above the door and all of that kind of stuff. And
Why would they?
that is
Unless Joy and her team finds it, you're perfectly fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
so I wouldn't worry about the fakeness. Everyone's at it. I think probably 60-70%, if not more, have GMBs in locations that they're not fucking actually sat at. So old addresses and hooky addresses and all sorts of stuff. So I wouldn't worry. Kuno was asking, is there any glitch in Google Search Console? Because when I check the external links to his website, it shows me a link from Harvard, which is harvard.edu, DR92, and many high DR links, but they're not building them. I wouldn't say there's a glitch. Google Search Console is not going to show you stuff that you've not got. I've never actually seen that happen in my life. I mean, I would be grateful if someone would build some Harvard links to me. Feel free, whoever you are that's doing that to them. But yeah, I wouldn't be concerned with it. It's not as if they can build these links and then report you, you know, for spammy links or something. That doesn't look like there's any kind of underlying way to look at that. I think, you know, I wish somebody would do the same for me.
Me too.
Yeah, so Chris, are you the same as me? You wouldn't be concerned with that, or
never?
Definitely not. And
I went out of my way to build those links. Berkeley, I got American EDU. Like, I went out of my way to go get those. Like, that took me a long time to figure out those places. So I would be very happy. That took me a minute to get on those places.
And Ryan saying, if you don't want them at your site, Colonel, just add a canonical to your page to his, and he'll have it.
I was just thinking that to myself. I wonder what Google would think about that page, the lander with the big block that says consultation, but I have links from Harvard, Berkeley, American EDU. Where did this guy get these? I think I have New York Times or something else crazy, and it's not New York Times, but it's just funny.
Oh man,
I got a whole slew of them.
Funny times, but sadly we are out of time, guys. It has been a blast. We didn't even get to talk about emulators. In fact, we've got 2 questions which I'll quickly answer. If I have 100 local pages, buying links for each page is crazy. Would you recommend creating, say, 5 hub pages that link to just 20 local pages and externally link to those hub pages for juice? That's what internal links are for. That's right. Internal linking to pass juice to the most prominent of those local pages. Some pages will rank in content alone. Some will need a couple of links to nudge them up in the right direction. Use, you know, a common sense approach to that and send links to the most competitive areas, and then use internal link. You don't need to create these hub pages. Just internally link to pass the juice to your other more localized areas. And final one, I'm doing great with on page, but I'm still really struggling to understand link building. Some say don't even bother with link building, but I feel it's important. Take my advice, Pete. Whoever said to you don't bother with link building
isn't ranking number 1.
Guy. He does not have a fucking clue what he's talking about. Link building is, I'm not going to say the most important thing in the world of SEO, because
number 3,
but it's certainly in the top 1, in my opinion. But no, it's really important to do it, and you know, you can rank for long tail stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff. But if you really want that good stuff, get link building going on. It is what Google has always used to rank websites and pass power and authority. So that's what we need to do to get those links and rank for substantial keywords. So do not listen to whoever said that. and Chris will back me up.
1,000%.
Chris is as tight as anyone. He doesn't want to pay for links, and
Have to.
he's got to. And I'm the same. I don't particularly want to pay for things, but
$100 a piece for those Trust Flow 50s.
Yeah. So, guys, hopefully that was a good show. We certainly enjoyed it better with more questions. Please do give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Check out Chris Palmer's channel as well. There's a lot of good content on there. Just go to YouTube and look for Chris Palmer SEO. And also, just finally, if you're interested in the £100 bonus for an aged domain or done for you affiliate website, check out the sponsor, odys.global. The link is below. And yeah, that is us for today. So it's been a pleasure, everyone. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers, guys. See you later.